What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be fixing one of my biggest complaints with my 1991 Firebird, the plastic T-Tops. T-Tops are great, but the Lexan version used in the late 80s and early 90s really don't age well. The video barely does it justice, but the tint has turned a brownish hue, and they all have these little crinkles in them, like tons of little tiny cracks, but they aren't cracked, it's just the plastic aging. While they still function fine, I want some nice, clear glass T-Tops. So today, I'm going to be making the swap to a set of mirrored glass small pin T-Tops from an earlier Firebird. So without further ado, let's get to it. So these are the new, to me at least, T-Tops. They're the mirrored version from an early to mid-80s Firebird, and I got the set on Craigslist for $50. They do need a bit of work though. The trim here that's supposed to be painted black is so shot that there's barely any primer left on it, let alone paint. And also, the trim to protect the edge of the glass is missing in a few spots. So first, we'll tackle repainting that black trim piece. I'm going to tape off this piece here to protect the glass and the drip edge, and then wet sand it with a 400 grit sandpaper to prep it for paint. Then I'll do a bit more taping off before I begin painting. The first thing I'm going to do is spray on this plastic adhesion promoter. I've never painted plastic before, but everyone seems to recommend using this as a base, so I thought I'd give it a shot. This stuff is actually super weird. It dries almost instantly, almost like an alcohol, and you can literally see it drying in the video in real time, and it doesn't look or feel like there's anything on there. Next up is a 2K epoxy primer from Spraymax. This is also my first time with a 2K primer, and it's pretty pricey, but I'd like this to look nice, so I figured I'd give it a try. I actually ended up really liking this stuff. The can atomizes it so fine that it's almost like an HVLP gun, and it laid on super flat. I probably won't use this for everything because of the price, but for nicer projects, it gets a big thumbs up from me. Next came time for paint. The only part of this project I regret so far is the painting process here. I used this old can of black Rust-Oleum paint, and it looks fine, it just doesn't spray on very well. It more kinda spritzes on, which left me with a lot of orange peel. The final step was this 2K clear coat. These 2K cans have a pin in the bottom that punctures the catalyst in the can and starts activating the mixture. 2K products usually last longer and, in the case of clear coat, look better and are harder. After they were clear coated, they actually look really nice, albeit with a bit more orange peel than I'd have liked. That said, since this is my first time doing a 3-step paint process like this, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a win. Next up, the glass has some etching and a few scratches that I'd really like to try and remove. To do that, I've got the Chemical Guys V32 through V38 optical grade polishing and cutting compounds. And this is another first for me, I've never tried these before. I hooked a foam pad onto a drill to help out with this, and after a little bit of work, you can already tell even in the video that there's a pretty big difference in the spot I did here. After a few hours work, both T-Tops looked amazing. They were literally the most flawlessly glossy thing I think I have ever seen, and it was pretty cool. To seal and protect the glass, I put on a quick coat of Rain-X. Now that they're mostly restored, there's just one thing left to do, and that is the mounts. These glass T-Tops use the smaller retaining pin that was used in the earlier models of the F-body, while my car uses the later large pins. It's not terribly difficult to convert the small pins to the large pins though. I just had to completely disassemble them, which also required removing the weather stripping. I had planned to remove this anyway though, so it didn't really bother me. I have new pieces ready to go in when I rebuild them. Once disassembled, I had to cut out the sleeve for the small pin, drill out the hole to the right size for the large pin, and then give it a bit of sanding. Then I just reassembled everything using the large pin hardware from my existing T-Tops. Then I could finally install them on the car. It takes a bit to get them in because I had just replaced all of my roof weather stripping, but they fit perfectly. Even on camera here, you can tell a massive difference. They're a lighter tint, though the difference isn't as big in person as it is on the camera, but they're also a lot clearer, and they'll never degrade like the Lexan ones do. I ended up leaving the plastic trim around the glass alone since it's not important to sealing, and I'm always very careful with these when they're out of the car. It was so nice seeing this come together because it just makes a massive difference to the clarity of the T-Tops. And that wraps up this video, folks. Sorry my uploads have been a bit sporadic lately. I've been doing a ton of work on this car lately, so there will be more videos about the Firebird coming soon. So if you don't want to miss out on those, make sure you hit that like button, get subscribed, and ring the bell so you get notified when I post new videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.